Hey guys, welcome to the Thought of Thoughts podcast. I am your host, Tia. It is currently 7 in the morning and I'm exhausted, but we're here, right? I just found out that I have a hole in these new pair of sweatpants that I have, so I'm low key upset about that, but we just keep moving forward. Anyways, I'm so excited. I'm smiling from ear to ear because I'm going to be talking about something that I just love so much. And it's something that I can talk about and do for hours. And that is thrifting. And I also want to make sure I make it clear that this episode will mainly be centered around thrifting for clothing and accessories because I know you can go to thrift stores for furniture, home decor, kitchen appliances, things like that. But today we are only going to be talking about thrifting for clothing and accessories. I'm no professional thrifter, but I have been thrifting for a while now. I want to say that I started thrifting ninth grade. Yeah, freshman year of high school. Honestly, that's when I started going to thrift stores, and that's when I started noticing just how many gems were at the thrift store. And I just remember in ninth grade going through this like business casual phase, sort of like this professional attire wearing phase. I always wanted to wear button ups and slacks and blazers. I was going through a major blazer phase that I kind of feel is coming back. But I was going through this major blazer phase, and that's just when I realized again the gems at the thrift store. I remember coming across this blazer that was cobalt blue. It had black buttons. It was perfect. I got like pink and purple blazers from the thrift store. It was just amazing. I want to say around 10th and 11th grade is when I was introduced to thrifting online, and I thought that was a game changer right there. I mean, that was a game changer, okay? I remember being first introduced to this app called Vinted, not sponsored by the way. And it's pretty much a secondhand online shopping platform, and it was amazing. I went crazy on Vinted from selling to buying, and then I started to, expand my horizons to other platforms like Depop, Poshmark, Mercari, things like that. Again, not sponsored. But ever since then, I just been thrifting. And I love thrifting. It's so fun. And I always want to encourage other people to do it. And I get that some people just can't get into it. But I think everyone should try. I think everyone should try. Like it's so amazing. And today I just thought would be a good day to just share a few pieces of advice and a few thrifting tips for those who are new to thrifting or those who already thrift. Honestly, for those who already thrift, this might be just common knowledge, but I hope that you guys find something from these tips that you can take into your new or next thrifting journey. My first piece of advice when it comes to thrifting is to go alone and do not invite anyone. And I know that sounds crazy, but I have two reasons as to why you should go alone when you thrift. Number one being, we all know that thrift stores sort of have one of a kind items. So you're not going to find the same thing twice. Unless it's a situation where somebody donates 10 black medium gilded teas or something like that, but that's also very rare. So I think it's good to just avoid a situation where you and your friend or you and a family member are out thrifting together. You guys both lock eyes on the same piece of clothing and you guys both want it. And the rule in my book is honestly, whoever gets their hands on it first is theirs. But just think about how that could be avoided had you went alone. My second reason is that you don't have to worry about rushing when you bring someone along in your thrifting trip. You have some people who go thrifting and they already have a set agenda, like they may know they just need to come in and find a plain black shirt and be out. And then you also have people who don't enjoy thrifting, where they're rushing you and they don't understand the process of thrifting because thrifting is a hunt. My next piece of advice is to donate first. Now, I'm not the most environmental knowledgeable person, but I do know that Donating and thrifting all around helps reduce waste, and anytime I know that I can help the environment, I would like to. And I'm also a strong believer in what might not be good for you may be great for the next person. So definitely donate first. Also, it makes more room in your closet and drawers. So with whatever you're going to bring back, you'll have room for those new things. Now, when it comes to finding thrift stores, I think it's always best to start small and find thrift stores in your area. I think a lot of new thrifters like to go to more luxurious, kind of more expensive thrift stores, if that makes sense. And I promise you, the gems are in your local thrift store, the thrift store that's right around the corner. Go there, see what they have. I promise you, you don't have to go far. You can always use Google Maps or Apple Maps, whatever GPS or search engine you prefer, to find thrift stores in your area. And I think that while you are taking the time to do that research, you should also look at the mission of the thrift store or thrift stores, because knowing what you're supporting is so important. And a lot of these organizations rely on the support of the community. So those funds from thrifting can definitely go towards supporting a specific cause and or service, which is always a good thing. And it may be something that you're passionate about. My next piece of advice is to shop on weekdays or whichever day has the best sale. Now, I prefer to shop early. It's so crazy because I've worked in retail for 5 years, and I know people who are always like, dang, it's a customer already at the door and we ain't open. I'm also that customer. And when I worked in retail, I didn't have a problem with customers that were at the door before we opened because I get it. Shop early. When you have the store to yourself, it's not a large crowd. I get it. And this might just be my social anxiety talking, but there is no better time to shop than early in the morning. I promise you. This is just either early in the morning or like an hour before a place closes. But I prefer the morning because I'm a morning person. For example, I like to shop at a local thrift store that has 25% off every Tuesday. And going in there early and getting the sale, it's just unbeatable. Now, before you leave to go to the thrift store, it is so important to dress comfortably. You're going to want to try things on. Some thrift stores have fitting rooms, some don't. And even those that do have fitting rooms, sometimes they are closed. And it's so crazy to me because I know of thrift stores that have had their fitting rooms closed since 2020 when there was like the rise of the pandemic. And it's like, come on now, open up the fitting rooms. Like everybody else has opened up their fitting rooms. Why are you holding back? Like, I just don't get it. So I think it's important to understand you want to be able to try pieces on over your clothes. So maybe wear something close fitting, maybe a tank top, a t-shirt, biker shorts, leggings, something like that. Something comfortable, but something where you know you can put clothes on over top of your current clothes. Now, my next piece of advice, this is actually something I just started to implement in my thrifting trips, and that is to bring a reusable tote bag, a large one, preferably. A lot of thrift stores just have general small plastic bags that come from either Walmart, Target, Dollar General, and those bags can't hold too much. And if you know that you're going to the thrift store to have a large shopping trip, I think it's so important to have a large reusable tote bag. And you can get these tote bags from Walmart for like $1.50. You can go to Kohl's, they have some. Other places have reusable tote bags. But I think this is so important. And again, it also helps the environment. Now, my next few tips are for when you step foot into the thrift store. Okay. So when you get to the thrift store, I think it is so important to check all sections of the store. Okay. You don't want to miss anything. I cannot stress that enough. Things are always put back in the wrong places. Also, some items are unisex and they may end up on one side of the store. Also, you want to make sure you check fitting room racks. Again, people put things back all the time. And I can tell you guys from experience, when I worked in retail for 5 years, that people always look through the fitting room racks. And a lot of them found what they needed. Now, when you grab a piece, you truly need to inspect it. This is the time where you look for any damage like stains, tears, snags. You also want to make sure that the buttons and the zippers work. I think that during this inspection, it's important to know what you can and can't save. So if a zipper is just unsavable, I don't even know if unsavable is a word. I like to create words on this podcast. If a zipper is unsavable, don't buy it. If you can't fix it, if you know that someone else can't fix it, don't get it. If you know that a certain stain just will not come out, don't get it. I think that makes the process of elimination a lot easier as well. Also, you want to make sure that your piece is clean. Check the pockets. I cannot tell you guys how many times I have bought coats from the thrift store and there were tissues in the pockets. So make sure you check the pockets, please. Another part of inspecting is to take the time to actually look up any graphics or sayings on a piece that is unfamiliar or foreign to you, because while your fashion, I truly believe, is an extension of you and a way to express yourself, you want to make sure that you aren't getting something that goes against your beliefs or your morals or just who you are as a person. I know one time I bought a hoodie that actually had a word on it that I didn't understand. Luckily, I looked it up and it was just a chemical company, but you still just don't want to get something that's against who you are. My next thrifting tip is to keep an eye on your cart, because there are people who are eyeballing the same piece that you're eyeballing. And the minute that you hold it up and you're looking at it and someone else finds interest in it, it's possible they could be watching you and ready to snatch that out of your cart. So definitely watch out for your cart. Now, once you finally conclude shopping in the store and you finally decide, okay, it's time to check out, I think it's so important to reevaluate and go through a process of elimination. A great tactic is to sort things into a yes or no pile. Whatever you don't need, put it back. And this is extremely important when you're checking the return policy, because you definitely do not want to get something that you cannot return or exchange. And a lot of thrift stores actually don't let you return anything. A lot. So be on the lookout for that. Now, you could do this before, but most of the time in a thrift store, the signs are really small or close to the register. And you don't want to be that person that holds the line up or hold people up. But look for discounts and coupons, because a lot of the time, thrift stores have discounts for teachers, students, veterans, seniors. Whatever the case is, take the time to look up more ways to save. My last piece of advice is to wash your pieces before you wear them. I typically leave my pieces in the car before I'm ready to wash them, because one thing I'm not going to do is be like out for hours and then have to go straight and do laundry. Like, that's a lot of work, you know? So I leave my pieces in the car until I'm ready to bring them in and wash them immediately. Believe it or not, I used to not wash thrift store clothes before wearing them. Shh. Don't tell nobody. This was back when I first started thrifting in high school, ninth grade. Yeah, I didn't wash a thing. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. I mean, that was about 10 years ago, so I completely understand now. Luckily, nothing happened like to my skin or anything like that, but now I know, and that's all that matters. I just think that thrifting is so fun, and I think that when you are thrifting, you should just enjoy the hunt. Enjoy the process. Maybe turn on some music. I'm not a person who likes to listen to music in public because I like to be alert of my surroundings, but also the thrift store music is just enough for me. Like, sometimes I just want to start fist pumping. You know? But that is all that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for listening. I truly enjoyed this episode. Like I said, this is my favorite thing to talk about, and I just love it so much. And I hope that you guys enjoyed it as well. Make sure you guys follow, listen, subscribe on Spotify, Anchor, and Apple Podcasts. And also make sure that you guys follow us on Instagram at Thread of Thoughts Pod. And we'll talk soon.